Have you seen the problem actually here at this specific clinic?
We have. We've seen quite a few cases of marijuana intoxication in dogs. It's just becoming much more accessible, and so dogs are finding their way to it. And you know, there's so many more products out there that are edible and gummies and things like that that are appealing to dogs, whereas they might not eat the actual herb, but they'll eat those things that they're baked into. And so we're seeing it with some frequency. I would say at least a couple of cases a month.
Wow. When did you start seeing?
In the last couple of years, I've noticed an increase in incidence. I think with the accessibility of those products increasing by having neighboring states that have legalized it, it's just brought more into the area. And there are other things like the Delta 8s that are legal here that still can have an intoxicating effect. So dogs are just getting into that kind of thing more often, and we're seeing it more frequently.
And yeah, what are the dangers of consumption?
Well, in dogs, you know, it's all dose dependent on how much they get. But when dogs get into something, they usually go for the whole thing. So if they get into a stash of gummies, per se, they eat the whole thing, they can become really ill from it. The signs are usually going to be they're kind of weak or, you know, falling down. Their pupils can be dilated. They can get a really low heart rate. They startle easily. They're just really disoriented. Sometimes they'll leak urine on themselves or vomit. But I've seen some of these guys that come in pretty sick. You know, and what we do to treat them is the first thing we do is we give activated charcoal, which is something that's given by mouth that actually absorbs some of the toxin through the GI tract to help minimize the amount that they absorb. And then we get them on IV fluids and supportive care. I've not had a dog die from it. I do know that there are cases out there, if they get into the concentrated product, that they can die, and if they don't get good supportive care. But for the most part, it's just a pretty rough 24 to 36 hours for the dogs.
I know medical marijuana is legal here in Texas, but what exactly is the difference between medical marijuana and then I guess recreational?
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot that I know that's different. It's just accessibility. But you know, all the products that are out there now can be very concentrated, very potent you know, levels of THC, and so that's when you get into trouble. Is when they take a very potent product and they eat a whole bunch of it, and they can get into trouble.
And then Delta 8. Can I talk about that?
So Delta 8 still has some intoxicating effects. So even though it's legal here, if a dog eats a whole bag of those, they're going to be in trouble.
Okay. And yeah, obviously East Texans should put it away. But yeah, what would you recommend?
Yeah, just be sure and keep it away from pets. You know, that's very appealing to them. A lot of times it's made into chocolate or made into gummy bear. It's, you know, you just have to remember they've got a really good nose. They can find those things, so be sure and have it away from your pets.
And I do know that they do make products for pets that contain that kind of
CBD,
substance.
yeah.
But yeah, what is the difference between that kind of keeps them calm versus this?
Yeah, CBD doesn't have the intoxicating effects that THC does. So THC is certainly never used in dogs, but CBD products, there are a lot out there, but that's not something I'm really specifically versed in, but you know, you just don't want to use any products containing the actual intoxicant THC.
Got it. So CBD is okay. Got it. And can you get that at just any
And they have it at various places.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but you want to make sure anything you use that's a nutraceutical like that is specifically on label for dogs, because it's got to be manufactured for dogs, because there's certain sweeteners even in gummies and stuff that can be very toxic to dogs. So you never want to use a human product, even if it's a vitamin supplement, natural CBD. You never want to use a human product in dogs because of the other ingredients that could be toxic.
Got it. And as a vet, would you recommend those CBD?
No, I don't. I haven't had real great success with those at this point.